the dark where the silence creeps, I feel a chill in my mind and leaps. Got the warning, hear the whispers in the night. Shadow ghost on the hunt, ready for a fight. Hunting visions can't escape the curse. Feel the pressure, man, it only gets worse. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. Through the darkness I light the way. Ready for the fray. Every step that I take, I can sense it near. Watching me closely, feeding on my fear. A phantom presence lurking in the mist. Gotta stay sharp, can't afford to resist. Run or hide, can't deny the source. With every breath you can feel the force. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. Run or hide, can't deny the source. With every breath you can feel the force. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. So bring it on, I'll never back down. In this battle, I'll wear the crown. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. So bring it on, I'll never back down. In this battle I'll wear the crown. Ready for the fray. Ready for the fray. Ready for the fray. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. Ready for the fray. In the dark where the silence creeps, I feel a chill in my mind and leaps. Got the warning, hear the whispers in the night. Shadow ghost on the hunt, ready for a fight. Hunting visions can't escape the curse. Feel the pressure, man, it only gets worse. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. Ready for the fray. Every step that I take, I can sense it near. Watching me closely, feeding on my fear. A phantom presence lurking in the mist. Gotta stay sharp, can't afford to resist. Run or hide, can't deny the source. With every breath you can feel the force. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. Run or hide, can't deny the source. With every breath you can feel the force. Shadow ghost, you can't take my throne. I'm standing tall, won't stand alone. Through the darkness I light the way. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. So bring it on, I'll never back down. In this battle, I'll wear the crown. I'm the warrior, ready for the fray. So bring it on, I'll never back down. In this battle I'll wear the crown.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with a Ghost Live. I am Shadow Ghost, your host with the most, and we're here to talk about everything Airsoft. I hope everybody's doing good out there. Awesome. It seems like everybody kind of liked my live intro. That's cool. I'm glad to see that. Let's see who we have in the chat this evening before we even get started. Looks like Cutter was here or might still be here. I'm not sure, but Cutter at Cutter Airsoft, big shout out to you, man. Is my brother from another mother. Looks like we got Jaw. How you doing, Jaw? Good to talk to you and see you on the page. Thank you for coming out and supporting. Crazy Jason, my team member, my buddy. Glad to see you in there. And thank you guys. I appreciate the compliment on the intro. That is awesome. We've been working really hard at the Haunted Mansion to kind of step our game up here and become a little bit more professional, to be honest. When I got into this and some of the people that are now helping me, I personally, very minimum on computer systems and understanding computer systems and how to do social media and live broadcasts. So hopefully we are continuing to move forward and trying to bring you guys some of the best content on Airsoft that there is out there. We will constantly keep trying to do that. So appreciate that compliment right there. All right. Well, welcome to Coffee with a Ghost. This is our live show. We're going to start continuing to hopefully do this every Tuesday at 8 p.m. and bringing you guys different subject matters of the airsoft hobby and everything that's been going on possibly around the airsoft world. But I wouldn't be amiss if I didn't bring up coffee. That is part of who we are here at Airsoft. Ghost with, have a cup of coffee with, goes with coffee. Me today, I am personally drinking a coffee brew. Goes good. Yes, yes. I am drinking a brew called Highland Grog from Bones Coffee Company, and then it's a butterscotch caramel flavor. I personally like it. If you guys can find it out there, I believe I bought mine at Publix is where I believe I bought mine at. Big shout out. Any other forwardings out there, you know how we are about our Publix. That's the grocery store right there. But great, great cup of coffee. If you guys have a cup of coffee in your hands, sorry about that. I couldn't hold it and not take a sip. But if you have a cup of coffee in your hands out there and you guys want to let me know what you're drinking, please do. I love always discussing coffee and airsoft. That's kind of the whole point of this show. So let's get into it. We have to start about a little bit, you're talking about what happened with the storm. We're not going to stick long on it. I think here at the Haunted Mansion, we about had enough of this hurricane crap. So we're going to give a quick brief here. It seems like most of the people in my area of Tampa Bay have gotten their power back at this point. Not all. I'm not going to be that person that says confirmed all, but it seems like most people have gotten their coffee or their electric back at this time, and hopefully their coffee. So, the damage was immense to a lot of areas. I'm sure you guys have all seen the photos and news broadcast, everything else about Tampa and, the surrounding areas, Clearwater Beach, St. Petersburg. Here at the Haunted Mansion, we are sending out much love and much energy to all of those people, good energy. They're our neighbors, and we're going to keep continuing to do what we can to help them. We did try to get some information out about Black Tiger Airsoft and their volunteer days. Unfortunately, we didn't get quick enough out to you guys the days that they were going to do it. I'm hoping to see that they might have another volunteer day coming up. Depends how well the drying up and hopefully not getting much more rain helps out with that situation. But if there's any others, please message me directly, or you can find me here on YouTube, comment, whatever. Let me know about your field, or if there's something with airsoft related that, you have a store or something like that, and you have a fundraiser trying to bring you guys back up so we can continue the hobby of airsoft in this amazing world that's being created with it forward, please let me know. That is a major thing, and I want to continue that out there. So with that being said, like I said, we're going to spend a little bit of time on that today. Today is a different episode. So before we get into it, if you hadn't hit that like and follow button down there, please do that. It helps support us here at Coffee with a Ghost and lets us know that you enjoy our content and helps keep you up to date with all the neat new things that are going to be coming out of here at the show and the Haunted Mansion in general. So, that being said, today's show is about melee weapons. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you indifferent? Do you think they shouldn't exist? Or how do you go about it? Me personally, I've been looking at the comments here lately. I haven't seen anybody yet say they hate them. I've seen a few people on the comments say they think they're pointless, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. I personally don't find them pointless, but I actually think they're fun. And we're gonna do something a little different today on Coffee with a Ghost. We're gonna do a little show and tell. Yeah. See, I brought my own Melee replica to the show this evening. See this? Here we go. Yeah, check that out, folks. Yeah, that is awesome. I hope you guys like this. Now, this is something I ordered from Airsoft GI. If you guys have not heard about Airsoft GI, they're online airsoft replica equipment. Basically everything airsoft you would ever want. One-stop shop. They are great customer service. They also have a YouTube page on here. You can find them on Airsoft GI. You can also go to their website at airsoftgi.com. I'm not going to get too in depth with them, but in my opinion, they are one of the best airsoft companies out there. Now, this beautiful thing right here, you might be looking at yourself and going, "Oh, I know what that is." Well, according to Airsoft GI, it might not be what you think it is. So, with this being said, on Airsoft GI, if you go on to the website right now and you're like, "I want to get what Ghost carries," well, that is a G-Force mole compatible polymer training machete. Yeah, isn't that a mouthful? Now, let me repeat that for you. G-Force mole compatible polymer training machete. So, I get they had their name there. Ghost has got a different name for this. I'm sorry, Airsoft GI. I hope I don't get some little, hey, what are you changing the name of? I'm not changing the name of it. Ghost has just got his own name for his, and that is a Kurkuri replica. It looks almost identical to a Kurker. Now, if you're not familiar with a Kurkuri, Kurkuris were originally carried by Gurkhas. Now, you're probably going, what language is Ghost speaking here? Let me break this down to you because I think that has a lot to do with your airsoft melee replica that you carry is knowing the history of your melee replica. I think that is a big part of it. Anything you're carrying on your loadout when you're walking out to play airsoft, you never know when somebody else in airsoft's going to walk up and go, "Hey, that thing's cool, dude. What is that?" And you want to be able to kind of, what you're talking about. So this right here, in my opinion, again, lonely ghost opinion here, is a Kurkuri replica. Kurkuris are originally carried by Gurkhas. Gurkhas are an amazing, I'm just going to say amazing. Yes, kukri. Sorry, thank you, Cutter. I always have a twist of the tongue with that, the kukri. So, with the kukri, they're carried by the Gurkhas. Now, when we start talking about legendary military fighting forces, not just currently right now in existence, but all throughout history, the name Gurkha has to hit your lips. It has to be a unit you talk about. For those that don't completely know what these guys are like, I like to say they're badass. I mean, we're going to get a little bit more into the kukri and the Gurkha's history in another video a little bit later on that we have planned out. But just to give you a little dive into mine, the Gurkhas during World War II won 2,734 awards. Now, before I even get into this more, you're going, well, who do they belong to? I jumped ahead there. I apologize. They are part of the United Kingdom / Nepalese military, meaning they have units in the United Kingdom's military force, and they also have their own select units that are part of Nepal and India. So, they have been in involvement for a long time, all the way up to current modern times. But their legendary fighting force is just incredible. And this is coming from a guy that done my time on the surface. And when you would hear the name Gurkha, guys would get quiet. It is almost like when somebody walks in the room and goes, "Hey, Michael Jordan's gonna show up live." Well, that's what it's like when somebody comes up and says, "Hey, Gurkha squad is coming." Okay. You almost take a step back. Their legend really does precede them in any situation. Like I was saying, in World War II alone, they won 2,734 awards for bravery. 12 of those were Victoria Crosses. For anybody out there who doesn't know, in the United Kingdom, the Victoria Cross would be the equivalent of the Medal of Honor here in the United States. the, that I think really says so much about them. But like I said, pay attention. We're going to be doing an episode directly just for them, the Gurkhas, and this amazing looking, amazing replica right here. Now, I'm getting a couple messages in here. What's this job? Melee weapons are super cool. I love the rubber training knives and real knives as well. Yes, yes, yes. Ghost loves a good knife. There might be a person or two in this chat right now who can confirm how Ghost loves a good blade. But unfortunately, in the world of airsoft, we are not out to hurt anybody. So that's where we come up with these. Let me unsnap this here and show you guys a little bit better. See, rubber. Not going to hurt anybody. So, with that being said, that's what we're talking about here today, is rubber replica knives. Now, I think it also has a lot to do with the type of game you're going to play too. I've heard a few people go, well, is it even worth it? I think it is, especially in a Milsim event. You never know what's going to happen out there in Milsim. Milsim can get crazy. As an example, I participated in Shadowlands, the last month now, in Charleston, South Carolina, hosted by Airsoft Charles. Really mainly hosted by Team Shadow Airsoft with them in cooperation. Big shout out to Team Shadow Airsoft. That was an awesome event. If you guys have not checked out their page, yes, I am a member of the team, but I'm not trying to push it for that. They are just an awesome up and coming team, and that event was incredible. So, with that being said, go check out teamshadowairsoft.com. They have bios on, I believe, almost all of the team members currently right now. And they do also have t-shirts, hats, other merchandise like that on there to support the world of airsoft. Speaking of Ghost and his knives, Shadow Viper did follow a suggestion to visit us. I'm not even going to bring that place up here because I don't know if I can or not, but good job, Shadow Viper. Good job. So, again, with the back to Milsim events, when you have a melee weapon, it can come in handy. My team that I was commanding actually took a live prisoner. Now, I do not believe the melee was used in taking of the live prisoner, but there was something I had a little bit of an issue with all of a sudden when coming back, and now I have a live prisoner in my command post. We're playing a military simulation event. That means he could try to take off running if he wanted to. And of course, in that closer range, I'm not really inclined to have one of my guys pop him with close range, let's say an airsoft rifle replica, that up and close, not if not need be. So, interesting enough, I immediately went to the melee weapon and said, let's hold him with the melee weapon. Why? Because one tap, he's dead. So there are apparently good reasons in a match to have a melee weapon with you. I like the big one. I love this. The kukri makes a statement out on the field, and I think that also has a little bit to do with melees. I think melee replicas also make a standing point about your personality, that you say. I have a buddy that any one given time probably has 3 different versions of melee knives on him out there on the field, including a multi-tool. There's a reason he's got the nickname he's got. He's talented with it. If it comes to it and he needed a pull, and I promise you, you better get to him before he gets that close to you, because he's going to take you out. It is definitely an interesting side of the field. Now, do you guys out there think that, melee weapons have a little bit to say about who you are personally with your loadout? Let me know in the comments over here. All right, let me get a sip of coffee, folks. What's this we got going on here? I have to. Oh, definitely, Joel. We will get information on it. It will be coming out very soon, actually, very soon. That episode about the Gurkhas and their legendary fighting force, and why that actually, in my opinion, could parlay really well into airsoft. I can't wait to get into that, because one of my favorite parts of airsoft is how we can bring history back to now by using airsoft. Let's see. I keep a multi-airsoft in my bag, stuff like that. Multi-tool in my bag, and screwdriver, small knife. Multi-tool knife. That's adorable. Laugh out loud. Okay. Well, cutter. I believe he was talking about what he carries on the field. The multi-tool, that has actually been an interesting thing. I'm gonna be straight. I love carrying a multi-tool with me. I think, especially if it's one of those neat ones that has a couple different Allen wrench sets, like sizes on them. There are a few out there that I've seen. My buddy Cutter out there has actually taught me about this. Always have backup tools. Always. And if I can carry them with me out onto the field, I feel much more comfortable. But I'm be straight. I've been to a few fields and some of them are not as cool about you carrying your multi-tool. So if you have a multi-tool on you and it's part of your loadout, I would 100% suggest that you check with the field that you're playing with at that day's rules on that. That is a particular niche thing that some fields kind of don't want them out there so much on the field, and you need to leave it back at either the type of event you're playing, your vehicle, or a certain section table area that they have set up for your gear. So just don't want to see anybody get in trouble with that. I completely do understand the idea of carrying lots of tools with you out on as part of your loadout. I've had guys laugh because they'll come up and tap a pocket and they think I have something like, say, a replica grenade or something in there, and they've tapped it and they're like, "What's over that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's my Allen wrench key. I've been taught by Cutter never leave home without Allen wrenches." And I shove it back in my pocket. So you always got to be safe with the rules. Some fields I've seen are very cool with you carrying your multi tool. They don't seem to have any kind of issue with it. Uh, but that is definitely one of those things that you got to kind of pay attention to out there. Uh, if somebody does have a suggestion, that would be something to talk about. Would be if you have a field ready toolkit that you figured out that is okay on most fields, because I've seen where things happen, and it sucks when you have to go way back out to try to put it back together, and then sometimes have to wait for somebody to walk back out onto the field, especially if it's something you can see right there and it's like, oh, it's my hop up and I just want to kind of, you know, I completely get where there is a great sense of this. Somebody out there has a suggestion. Please put that in the chat of like what a cool essential loadout tool bag would be. I mean, that you could possibly keep on you while playing. Because again, I've seen some times where it's, man, my sight's moving right now. If I could just duck back here and pull out my own wrench and tighten that sucker down and just be okay right now, that definitely would be something to think of in the future. Uh, let's see. It's somebody had mentioned, I think, yeah. Oh, here it is. I'm actually starting a Vietnam War loadout. I want to be a World War II reenactor when I get older. That is awesome, Jaw. I wish I could actually give you some advice on that, but I have none, except for the loadouts. If you have questions about the loadouts, please hit us up here at Coffee with a Ghost. If I don't have the answer, as I like to tell a lot of people, it's not always about what you know, it's who you know. I'm very interested myself in some of the Vietnam era loadouts that I've seen popping up, and there was actually a Vietnam game not too long ago that I've seen it happen. Now, there's a good question with melee weapons. When you're going into that, really pay attention to what they carried in that time frame and try to simulate it. I think that's important. Oh man, I love a good historically accurate loadout for a historical mill sim. I think that is so important out there. And I'm sorry, there are just guys out there that are gonna tear you up if you come out there and say you're playing a United States first 1-7 Cav from Vietnam, and you come out walking with this sucker right here sticking out the top of your shoulder. What's a machete? No, it's not the machete they carried during that time. We all know that. It's cool. It's fun. It's cool. There's games for that. But when you're going historically accurate, you gotta even get the melee weapons right. I've seen where it can get people can get a little touchy, a little touchy. Shadowlands. I mean, see, I agree, Jason. What if we would have had that screwdriver in a small kit right then and there? a reenactor for a non-combat role and 18 for combat role reenactment. Well, that's neat to know. Okay, Jaw, thank you for letting me know that. I did not know that. Well, I'm not going to give Ghost his age out here because, no, not going to happen. I could be hundreds of years old or I could, be a new ghost. I'm not going to say that out here on live camera. But I will say, I think I'm okay on the reenactment age. Oh, so with talking about melee weapons. Has anybody, I personally have seen a few out there that are kind of neat, just seen that melee weapon? Because if you've watched any of my shows, Ghost is all about airsoft staying fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I take it seriously on the field. I work out off the field, try to stay in physically shape for the game when I'm out there, and I try to do a 360 on this hobby. And people are like, well, you put a lot into it. Well, you get a lot out of it if you put into it. But with that being said, again, I want to keep it fun always. That is my number one priority when it comes to playing airsoft out there, except being there for my friends and my buddies. But with that being said, I have personally seen some pretty interesting looking melees out there. I have a buddy in England. He goes by the name of Bag of Hammers. If you watch his Bag of Hammers, big shout out. Again, thank you for being on the show. I have watched a video where he pulls his melee hammer out. It's quite a big hammer. It was a pretty interesting melee weapon. So hit me up. Tell me what you have seen as a melee weapon, or maybe something you might like to see as a melee weapon. Because who knows? Maybe some airsoft company could check out this page and ooh, that's a neat idea. I've seen some pretty interesting ones out there, but maybe you guys have seen something neater. Oh, I agree, Cutter. That is something I was going to get to in a second. And we could talk about that right now, actually. I would love to see them become more part of the airsoft world. There are ways to incorporate that. Lipstick on the end of the blade is one way of doing that. Let me pull my old girl out here and we can talk a little bit of an example. She snapped up here, so, safety first. All right, so what I'm saying is you could take cheap lipstick and you go down the edge of this right here on both of your opponents that are deciding to go melee to melee. And when it is done in that motion, it would leave a red lipstick there. So with that being said, there are other ways to do that too. There are a red powder that I've seen used in more of a aggressive martial arts competitions that the knife can be knocked into, and when it hits, it leaves a powder mark. But there are a lot of different ways we could honestly add melee fighting a little bit more to airsoft. I've joked about it going, when am I going to see somebody in the parking lot challenge somebody else in the parking lot to a melee knife fight? I've been wondering. I keep hearing rumors, and I'm not going to say the names of it, of a future lightsaber battle that might happen. And I just think that's cool. Because let's be honest, guys, it's fun. It's just fun. That's the whole point of airsoft. It's fun. So I would love to see it become a bigger part of the sport, especially for those guys that really try to push that skill. That could be interesting. I think there's ways to incorporate it. If you guys have some ideas of how it could be incorporated more in the sport, please put it in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think about it, because as you see, I'm always willing to get into a melee duel myself. If you're out there in the parking lot and you find me, I might have some cheap lipstick in my loadout. Watch it. We could do this. All right. The multi-tools and maybe during the game. Oh, okay, cool. Lipstick on the blade. You feel some guy was running around with a shield and throwing a fake hatchet at people. No, that is just funny. No, I'm sorry. That. Some people go like, oh, that's not part of airsoft. Well, those people, they just need to relax, need to enjoy the game a little bit more of the hobby. I mean, come on, a dude with a shield and a hatchet. I mean, if you're carrying a good airsoft rifle, you already do kind of have the advantage. Don't get me wrong, it's got the shield. Shields can be a little hard to get around, but there are maneuvers to get around shields. And you have range on the person with the shield. So he's taken the disadvantage. That person knows that entering the field with a shield in their hands and an axe. I mean, how would you not know that? Wow. Imagine that with a helmet cam on. and you got the shield and a hatchet, and you're just running around the field, ducking behind that thing, throwing. Oh, the footage would be freaking hilarious, especially if you had the right music to it. Oh man. If that person somehow out there catches this video, send me the footage. I will edit it up and give you credit for that and post it on here with Coffee with a Ghost. I would just, I mean, we could so like Super Mario theme song in the background. Oh, it would be freaking hilarious. I would love to see that. That is. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm that guy that loves the more crazy off the wall stuff in Airsoft. I mean, there's a place and a time for serious. There's those legit competitions that are hardcore. Sometimes there's money to win, speed competitions, things like that. But if you're at a regular weekend event or a open event where it's bring what you got in, long as it's under our safety requirements, they're, the more crazy the get up to me, sometimes the more interesting. Now, I do have to say what I said a second ago. If you are carrying something, know what you're carrying. Learn about it, do a little bit of research and stuff like that. But to me, the more interesting you make it, the more fun you make it, the more people are going to get into it. And it's just cool. I agree, John. I'm glad he was on your team too, because that would have been interesting to see some guy in a shield and a hatchet running towards me. Now I'm gonna go with Jason on this. I'm shooting for the feet. Be honest, I mean, but who knows? I might be that guy that swings my rifle back and pulls my melee weapon out and goes, "Oh, I finally have that opportunity. We're gonna do this right here and now." So, I mean, yeah. Oh, he's also sprinting around with an Echo One PMG 5. Wow. Okay, this dude might be somebody I need to have on the show at some time. If you run into him, Jaw, again, please let him know about my show. I might want to have this guy on as a guest because right now he sounds like he'd just be fun to talk to. Alrighty. But I mean, yeah, who knows what could happen with this event if we have more of that. I mean, the more crazy ideas, the better off it is. I've seen videos of people running around in chicken suits. All for it. Let's do it. Let's have fun. And that's why I like melee weapons. So, I mean, as far as Coffee with a Ghost's opinion, they are not just a interesting part of a kit. I think they should almost be a necessity and a fun part of your game. Now, if you're running speed, of course, adjust your loadout to that type of competition. I'm not saying carry a melee in that moment. That's totally different. You're speed running. But if you're coming out to have a fun day or mill sim, get a good melee replica. I really just, I can't say that enough. I kind of veered away from it a little bit in the beginning because I was like, no, do I really want to carry a melee weapon? Is it worth it? And then within the first game, I got a short tap hit, meaning I got close enough to go boop in their shoulder. And that was it for me. Melee replicas, that was now essentially part of my game. Because to me, that was almost the hardest challenge of an airsoft match was to sneak up, and it's still in my opinion, to sneak up on an opposing player and get so close to them that you could use your melee and get a good hit. Now you're at that, it's like stepping to the advanced level. Yeah, so DJ's up in the house. What's up, my brother DJ? Thank you for joining us. That is awesome, bro. So, like I said, I think we have a pretty good confirmation across the board about melees. If somebody's got a different opinion, please jump in and gives it. All right, let's see. We had a few other things that we wanted to talk about this evening. Oh, hmm. Man, I'm gonna go back and again and brag on Grog, Highland Grog coffee here. Coming from what was that? Bones Coffee Company. That is a freaking good cup of coffee. That really is. What's up, Team Shadow Airsoft? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we were just talking about you and some of the fun we had at Shadowlands because of a melee weapon. Awesome to have you in here and you guys coming in and supporting us this evening. Now back to melees. One of the I've wanted to see something in melees. I don't know, maybe you guys don't agree with this totally. A little bit more fantasy melee. There's so many replicas that they could make into a melee replica. And it's to me been kind of basic. It's also something that I think even you could do maybe at home. Now, I'm just starting to learn a little bit more about the world of cosplay, learning how to make different outfits and things like that because honestly, I've never been to a Comic Con in my life. I did get to go to a Halo convention once. Kind of felt like I was a little out of my depths, to be honest with you folks. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Who doesn't like to get to shoot a needler? But, I would love to see maybe more fantasy replicas out there for those fun events, the weekend events when, you're not so much out there trying to be so serious. What fantasy? Yes, LARP weapons made from foam. Exactly. And I had mine actually tested at Charleston, Airsoft Charleston for Shadowlands. They actually did ask me to look at my melee replica before I went in, and I completely understood it. They wanted to make sure everybody was safe. I had no problem with it. That's cool. So I think if you kept with the same standards that you're seeing out of our store-bought ones, I think the idea of making one at home is really cool. But what would be a fantasy? Something from movies or comic books or something that you would like to see added into the melee category carried out on the field. I mean, that's a question for me. Like, I would love to see maybe Thor's hammer. I've not seen a lot of like big Viking style melee hammers on the field. I haven't seen many of those. I thought that would be kind of neat to see out there. Or let's see, like, what would be another one? Oh, like an Excalibur sword. A Claymore. See, that would be an awesome, awesome suggestion, Team Shadow Airsoft. A Claymore. That would be pretty good. And it's funny. Earlier, Jaw had mentioned a player that was running around the field with a shield and a hatchet. See, that guy could easily, Claymore. Even though a Claymore was a two-handed weapon, but boy, it would be neat to see on the field. You know, maybe what is it? One of those tall, long axes, the double-headed axes. That would be kind of cool. I would like to see something of that nature running around on the field, or somebody on here has to know it. I'll throw this out here, and it'll probably show up in the chat in a second. The Zelda sword, the sword that you carried in, I believe it was the N64 Zelda when you first got to ride around on a horse and stuff like that. That would be neat to see. Battle axe, yeah. See, battle axes could be multiple different sizes. That would be really, really neat to see. The different ones of that nature running around. And I mean, everybody's like, well, would you really use it? I have to say, I possibly would. I could see me going to, say, a battle axe. All of a sudden, my airsoft rifle replica in my hand is run out of ammunition, and I got a dude standing in front of me, and he's about thinking he's going to go to that Cymar pistol. I got enough room to grab that battle axe and run on him. Boy, that would just be some fun right there. Ah, sword. Yes, swords are, and that would be neat, depending on the type of swords, because there's so many different types of swords out there. I mean, interesting enough, this beautiful girl right here as an airsoft replica. A lot of people like to call it a knife or machete, but it's actually classified in regular knife, not airsoft to put in regular, even though this is an airsoft replica. Hurts. No, does not hurt. But, and its regular real version is actually listed as a short sword. Interesting enough. We'll catch more of that on the Gurkha episode. But I could see there's so many different swords I could see coming out there. Oh man, there could be so many different ones. And again, if somebody knows the name of the Zelda sword, toss that up because I remember he had like this cool curved looking, almost scimitar like blade at one point. Um, and there's so many different ways you could go with melee weapons. You really could. Exactly, Mighty. What's this? I have a claymore, but real steel isn't allowed. No, Cutter. We cannot have you in kilt running across the field screaming freedom with a real blade. Now, I will be more than happy to show up at the Cutter workshop and help you build an airsoft replica claymore, just so I can film that getting taken out onto the field. I will do it. Bali Song 948. Ooh, jaw. Wow. Karamba. Well, okay. Yes, that would be really neat. Talk about being an individual on the field and standing out. I have not seen anything close to that yet. That is, wow, that is good suggestion right there. Definitely. Definitely. And again, Cutter, we could do this. We could do this. But I want to film it when you run across the field screaming. Very interesting to see how the other players react to that. Uh, So, with that being said, I think we also have to talk about the other non-practical applications of. That's right, Cutter. We got to figure out how to do that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So we got to talk about the non-practical applications of the melee replicas. Some people are like, "What do you mean non-practical?" Because again, sports fun. It's not always about being practical. Sometimes it's just about being goofy or just adding it to that. And my meaning being behind that is, does it complete your loadout necessarily for something? Like if you're trying to go out and be a certain type of soldier or a certain country. I've seen Vince where you have guys that are dressing in full Russian type gear, or we talked about Vietnam earlier. I've seen ones that were North Vietnamese, or they were the Laos or other type areas where they kept with those. I think that is definitely a part of that, even if you don't plan on using it. My reason being is because you're trying to fit the character. And most of those times there was some type of utility equipment version of a melee replica that was issued. Either it be the US Army's bayonet or K-bar, or you could look at there's several different Russian ones that were made. But I think that is also part of the game. What's this cutter? Have the juggernaut of a game have a sword and a battle axe. That would be really interesting. Wow, that would definitely make it a little bit more cutting edge for the other side too. I have to say, because especially if you set up the Juggernaut like Shadowlands, where you were shooting for a bell. Which, by the way, Team Shadow Airsoft, great idea with the Juggernaut on that type system. As a commander's point of view, I enjoyed so much the Juggernaut that between it coming at us or us sending it the other direction. I thought that was such a great addition to Shadowlands. I hope to see some version of the Juggernaut at next, Shadowlands. That's how happening 2025. But a Juggernaut with melee weapons. So here's the question. Would you make it where the Juggernaut you have to shoot a small spot and hit it on the Juggernaut? Or would we make it where you have to go after the Juggernaut with a melee to take out the Juggernaut? Oh, there's so many questions that could be asked. Combine the two so it's a longsword, a battle axe head at the end of this. So, jaw, I could get into. That's some craziness you're trying to. Yeah. Well, that's some combining of some weapons. That sounds like something that might have came out of the movie Heavy Metal back in the day. I don't know. But, oh, I didn't think about that. Heavy metal replica melee weapon. That would be kind of cool. So, right. Uh, so, I think the melee, we have to agree, also probably says a lot about the player carrying it. I think if you carry a really unique melee replica, well, it says you like to be unique and, it be different. Do you like to carry the stealthy one? Well, that might be the guy on the field that you want to keep an eye out for because he might be going fast and coming quick. Or you might be the sniper hiding back and trying to be all stealthy. Do you go for the big extravagant one? I think it also says a lot about the type of player you want to be or are trying to be in your loadout gear. So I think that is another part of the melee being added to the game. It is definitely, I think, something that maybe we could look at farther. It's like Cutter said earlier on here, to add more melee to the matches. So I'm curious to see if anybody's got an opinion of how to do that. Now, I think the Juggernaut having it could be a really neat way of playing it out. I mean, that could be kind of cool, depending on how it's set up. I think we would have to even maybe somehow make the spot that you have to hit on the Juggernaut even smaller than before, just to give the Juggernaut more of a shot of running up on players and getting to them. That would be kind of neat. You know, maybe even something. Recently I seen that there's going to be a zombie game, hopefully still happening. I'm not really sure what the aftermath of the storm. Maybe zombies could be carrying melees. That'd be kind of neat. Like a zombie with a bat, you know, something of that nature. That could be kind of cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, replacements are hard. That is the genuine hard part of the sport. A lot of replacements, a lot of fixing of parts. So yeah. All right, guys, we're getting a little bit close to it here. We've been on about 40 minutes, and I think we've covered pretty good gamut of the melee weapons. If you have any more ideas or comments you want to throw out there, you got a little bit more time, but just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But I think the whole point of melees is to keep the sport fun. As I said earlier, I'm all about airsoft staying fun. And it's, you know, there's seriousness and there's, you know, people that go with it that way. And I think that's cool. But at the same side, I think we always have to maintain that side of fun. And I think melee replicas really do help increase that fun about it. I think it adds more to your loadout. I think it can say a lot about you. And it just adds kind of like that interesting new aspect to the hobby. Again, this is just my personal opinion, but I think that it's almost be part of an essential loadout at this point. Now, can you play the game without it? No. But would you want to? I don't know. I kind of like having that melee with me. All right, so we got some interesting things coming up pretty soon from Coffee with the Ghost from you guys for you guys. We are definitely trying to do our best to come out with some great new content and great new things going on out there, including Mr. Ghost here. I'm going to be reading a story. So if you've got a children's book story called Ghosts Are Afraid of the Dark. So if you've got kids out there, nieces, nephews, something of that nature, make sure to hit that you know, follow button and keep up with the page so we can get that information. Maybe in the next couple of days we'll let you know when that video is going to air. If we're going to do it live, we're not exactly sure yet. It's going to be a very special Halloween episode because guess what? It's October and this is our favorite time of year. It is so magical. And since it's so magical, we want to do something for the kids. So I'm going to have a very special episode where I sit back and I read this story and really hope you guys get some kids in there to enjoy it. With that being said, we are going to get ready to say goodnight. Again, we're back on regular schedules, so you guys will see us here again with a whole new subject next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And make sure to hit that like and follow button down there. It lets us support us here on the show and lets us know that you're enjoying the content. And we send great energy out to all of you guys out there in the world and hope you're having a great night and evening. And remember what I like to say.